My name is Robert. And 9 years ago, I stopped existing. Not literally. I still woke up every morning. Still paid my bills. Still watered the flowers my wife loved. Still sat in the same chair every evening. But to my children, I may as well have disappeared. The strange thing is, they didn't even notice. At least not at first. Now before anyone starts typing comments saying, maybe they were busy. Maybe life got in the way. Maybe you're exaggerating. Trust me. I spent 9 years making those same excuses for them. 9 years. That's a long time to defend people who stopped showing up. My wife, Margaret, died when I was 61. 41 years of marriage. 41 years of inside jokes. Morning coffee. Road trips. Arguments about paint colors. Late-night conversations. 41 years of building a life with someone. And then one hospital room. One heart monitor. One final breath. And suddenly, silence. The kind of silence that changes the shape of a house. You notice it everywhere. The empty side of the bed. The untouched coffee mug. The chair nobody sits in anymore. People tell you grief gets easier. Maybe. But they never tell you that loneliness gets louder. After Margaret's funeral, my children promised me something. We'll be here, Dad. Those exact words. Emily said it first. My daughter. 34. Married. 2 children. Lives 30 minutes away. Then my son Ryan said it. 31. Successful. Busy. Always busy. Everyone's busy these days. Funny how people are never too busy for the things they actually care about. But at the funeral, they both looked me in the eyes. And they promised. We'll be here. I believed them. Of course I did. They were my children. The first few months weren't bad. Every Sunday I cooked dinner. The whole family came. The grandchildren ran through the backyard. Emily laughed. Ryan told stories from work. For a little while, it felt like we might survive losing Margaret. Then life happened. Or at least that's what they called it. One Sunday Emily couldn't come. Soccer practice. The next week Ryan canceled. Work emergency. Then another week. Then another. Then another. Always a reason. Always an excuse. Never anything dramatic. That's what makes neglect so dangerous. It doesn't arrive all at once. It arrives one missed phone call at a time. One canceled dinner at a time. One forgotten birthday at a time. Until suddenly, years have passed. And you're sitting alone wondering when exactly you became optional. I remember my 63rd birthday. I cooked a full dinner. Roast chicken. Mashed potatoes. Apple pie. Margaret's recipe. I set the table for 6. My children. Their spouses. My grandchildren. The house smelled incredible. I waited. 6 o'clock. Nothing. 6:30. Nothing. 7. Nothing. Then the messages started. Emily. So sorry, Dad. Something came up. Ryan. Rain check. Rain check. 2 words. That's all. I stared at my phone for a long time. Then I sat down at a table meant for 6 people. And ate alone. You know what's funny? The food still tasted good. The chicken was perfect. The pie came out exactly right. The only thing missing was everyone I made it for. That night I washed 6 plates. Even though I'd only used 1. I don't know why. Maybe because admitting the truth felt harder. Year 4. I stopped expecting calls. Year 5. I stopped making plans. Year 6. I started counting. You shouldn't count. But lonely people count everything. Calls. Visits. Messages. Birthdays remembered. Birthdays forgotten. In one entire year, my son called me 3 times. 3. One was accidental. His Bluetooth connected while he was driving. He didn't even realize he'd called. I listened to road noise for almost a minute before he hung up. That's when I knew something was broken. Not him. Not me. The relationship itself. I tried talking about it. I really did. One afternoon I sat with Emily. I told her I was lonely. I told her I missed them. I told her I felt forgotten. She cried, held my hand, promised things would change. Nothing changed. Not one thing. Ryan was harder. When I finally confronted him, he sighed. actually sighed. Like my pain was another item on his to-do list. Dad, you're overthinking this. Overthinking. That's what he called 9 years of silence. I drove home that day with the radio off. And for the first time, I stopped blaming myself. That matters. Because lonely people become experts at self-blame. Maybe I called too much. Maybe I expected too much. Maybe I'm difficult. Maybe I'm needy. Maybe I'm the problem. Then one day you realize, people who love you don't make you beg for scraps of attention. And something changes. Quietly. Permanently. The final straw came during Christmas. Year 9. My granddaughter turned 10. I sent gifts, cards, money, no thank you call, no message, nothing. 3 weeks later I learned she'd received everything. Emily simply forgot to tell her. Forgot. That word followed me home. Forgot. A father. A grandfather. Forgot. I sat in my living room staring at the family photos on the wall. And for the first time, I asked myself a question I'd been avoiding. What if they aren't coming back? Not physically. Emotionally. What if the relationship I kept trying to save was already gone? That night I made a decision. Not out of anger. Not revenge. Not bitterness. Clarity. Pure clarity. The house was worth nearly $600,000. Paid off. No mortgage. No debt. My children assumed they'd inherit it someday. They talked about it occasionally. Not directly, but enough. Ryan once joked about turning my workshop into a home office. Emily wanted the garden. They already saw it as theirs. What they didn't realize was that the house wasn't the inheritance. I was, and they'd spent 9 years throwing that inheritance away. So I sold it. Quietly. No family meeting. No discussion. No warning. Just paperwork. Signatures. Boxes. A moving truck. And a one-way ticket. 2 months later, I was living near the ocean. 500 miles away. Small town. No expectations. No memories around every corner. No empty chairs. No Sunday dinners. Just peace. Real peace. The kind I hadn't felt in years. 6 weeks later my phone exploded. Calls. Messages. Voicemails. Panic. Apparently my children had finally decided to visit. Only to discover strangers living in the house. Suddenly they cared. Suddenly they wanted answers. Suddenly I mattered. Funny how that works. Ryan found me first. He showed up at my apartment looking exhausted. Dad, how could you do this? I looked at him for a long moment. Then I asked, when's my birthday? He froze. Actually froze. The answer should have been immediate. Instead, he guessed. Wrong. I watched realization hit him. Like a wave. Slow. Painful. Unavoidable. Then came the tears. The apologies. The explanations. Work. Stress. Life. Kids. Responsibilities. I listened. Every word. And when he finished, I simply nodded. I believe you. His shoulders relaxed. Then I added, and it changes nothing. The look on his face. I'll never forget it. Because for the first time in 9 years, he felt what I'd been feeling. Loss. Distance. Regret. Not punishment. Consequences. There's a difference. Emily came a week later, crying before she even reached my door. She wanted things fixed. People always want things fixed after they break. Rarely while they're breaking. We talked for 3 hours. Some conversations take years to arrive. This was one of them. When she finally asked if I'd come home, I smiled sadly. What home? She had no answer. Because the truth was simple. Home wasn't a place anymore. Home was a feeling. And they'd abandoned it years ago. Today I'm 70. I walk on the beach every morning. I read books. I fish. I sleep well. The anxiety is gone. The waiting is gone. The disappointment is gone. My children call now. Every week. Sometimes more. And yes, I answer. But things are different. The version of me who spent 9 years waiting by the phone? He's gone. Retired. Buried. I still love them. I'll always love them. They're my children. Nothing changes that. But love and access are not the same thing. People confuse those things. Love can survive distance. Respect cannot survive neglect. For 9 years, I kept setting a place at the table for people who never came. The decision that changed everything wasn't selling the house. It wasn't moving away. It wasn't disappearing. The decision that changed everything was finally accepting reality. Accepting that some people only value your presence after they've experienced your absence. And once you understand that, you stop begging. You stop chasing. You stop waiting. You choose yourself. For the first time. And sometimes, that's exactly how a new life begins.